Hey everybody, Captain B-Nard back here with another Wi-Fi battle. Exciting day today because as promised I do have that new team for you guys, which we will get into in just a second here. But our first match with that team is going to be against Preston. So yeah, there is the new team on the left-hand side there. Good solid mix of Pokemon that I've used before and Pokemon I've not used before. So in the ones that I've used before column, we have the Talonflame and the Poltegeist Pokemon I've used a little more recently. Then we have the Greninja Pokemon I've not used in a very long time here. And then, of course, we have the Sudowoodo, the Arboliva, and the Tinkaton Pokemon that I've never used before here. So, and the Sudowoodo, of course, is going to be that special shiny one we just got recently. So, another interesting combination I feel I put together here. So, definitely looking forward to seeing how these guys do in battle. So, having said all that, the first match with this team today is going to be right here. You can see the opponent's team looks to be pretty strong, pretty meta looking, so should be an interesting one. What do I want to lead with here? Not much time to decide. I think we're actually going to go with the Tinkaton in this one. Seems to match up relatively well. And we'll see how that works out. Alright. So, there he is. And he's going to go ahead and lead with the Dragapult. So, that's not terrible for us with the Tinkaton lead. So, we are going to get the Mold Breaker coming into play, of course, now. I can't even see anything with this giant hammer. So, but yeah, we have a choice to make here. These things can carry fire moves, but even so, I think we're just going to stay in, and we're going to try to get a knockoff on something early. I think that's the best course of action, as he's just going to go for a U-turn, so that's not going to do much of any damage to us, but is going to get the pivot out, so we'll see what he wants to come in with. We're going to get a knockoff on something, which is definitely going to be good for us. And yeah, we'll see what he wants to bring in to take that. Or maybe we won't see, because the hammer's taking up the whole screen here. So, okay, it's going to be the Mimikyu, so that's kind of fine. So that comes in as we go for the knockoff here. That is actually going to go ahead and take this thing down by about half and get rid of the Chesto Berry, which is interesting. And I suppose because of the Mold Breaker, we actually go through the Disguise, so that's pretty interesting. That is not something that I was aware was a thing, but I guess it is. So I guess this turn we just go for a Gigaton Hammer, no reason not to. This thing outspeeds us, go for a Shadow Claw. Not going to do too much damage to us as we are max HP. We're going to go for the Gigaton Hammer in return, and that's just going to finish off that Mimikyu for sure, crushing it like a pancake, and knock him down to 5, which is great news for us as we do get some HP back with the leftovers. So Tinkaton already leaving its mark here on the game, which is pretty awesome. So we'll see what he wants to bring in response, and it is going to be the Gyarados. So he's going to come in with that, and he is going to get the Intimidate to lower our attack. Now, we don't really have much of a choice. We kind of have to switch out here. There's not much we can do to this thing with this Tinkaton. So I think our best course of action here is going to be to switch to probably the Arboliva. So that's what we are going to do. And yeah, we'll see where that goes. So there is the Arboliva. And he is just going to go for a Dragon Dance, kind of as expected, unfortunately. That is going to give him that +1 attack and speed, which is obviously bad news for us. So yeah, I think the best course of action this turn is we're going to go for a Strength Sap to try and cut this thing's attack down once again as he goes for an Iron Head, which is interesting. That's going to take us down by a little more than half. It is going to activate the Seed Sower to set the grassy terrain on the battlefield, and he's going to take some Life Orb recoil damage there. Thankfully, we don't get flinched. We go for a Strength Sap in return, which is going to cut this thing's attack back down to neutral, which is great, and it is going to give us all of our HP back, which is even better. So this turn, I think we're going to go on the offense with, let's see here. I think safest bet is probably going to be the Energy Ball, so we're just going to go for that as he goes for another Dragon Dance. So that is unfortunate. He's going to go up to now +1, back to +1 attack, and now up to +2 speed here as we go for the Energy Ball in return, which is going to take this thing all the way down to about a quarter, but he does survive, unfortunately. We do get the special defense drop, which doesn't really matter at this point. But I think we probably just have to try and take this thing out outright, so we're just going to go for another Energy Ball here as he goes for another Iron Head. That is going to knock us below half again. He's going to take some more Life Orb recoil damage there. We do go for the Energy Ball in return, and that will be more than enough to get rid of that Gyarados and knock him down to 4. So that is definitely great for us. We are going to get some HP back with the grassy terrain as well, some more with the leftovers. So in a pretty decent spot here, which is of course what we want. So we'll see what he wants to bring in response here. So it is going to be the Mouse Hold. So that's kind of fine. That thing's coming in, so I think there's no reason for us to just not attack this thing. Since he knows we have Energy Ball, I think we're going to go for Hyper Voice instead, because this thing could bust out a Terra to try and throw us off. So we're going to go Hyper Voice here, as he actually is just going to go for a Tidy Up instead. So that is interesting. So going to get that attack and speed increase, of course, and we are going to go Hyper Voice in return. It's going to take this thing down to about a third HP. Unfortunately, it does survive, and we both get some HP back with the grassy terrain, and then we are going to get some HP back with the leftovers as well. So we might be in a position where we have to give this thing something, unfortunately. Now, I don't know if I want that to be our Bolova, because it kind of looks useful. So I think what we're going to do here, I think what we'll do is we'll actually just, how do we want to play this? Or do we want to try and switch based on what he has left? You know what? I think we don't really want to make a risky switch right now, so we're just going to stay in, and we're going to click Hyper Voice again. We'll just do that, as this thing does go for a Population Bomb. 2, 3, yeah, and unfortunately we cannot survive one of those, so that's going to get rid of the Arbolova and knock us down to 5, but there really wasn't a safe way around that, so we are going to get taken out there, but that's not the end of the world. This thing does get some HP back with the grassy terrain, as the terrain is going to go ahead and disappear then. So we have a couple options here to deal with this thing. I think our safest option is probably going to be the Talonflame, so I think that's what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and switch this thing in. And since our HP is full, we do have our Gale Wings active, which means all of our flying type moves get priority, so we're just going to go ahead and go for that priority Brave Bird here. So we do outspeed, we are max attack choice banned, and that is definitely going to take the Mouse Hold out from that range and knock him down to 3. So that is great news for us. We are going to take some recoil damage there, but more than worth it to get rid of that thing, as it could be a huge potential problem, obviously. So we'll see what he wants to bring in response. It is going to be the Baxcalibur, so he's coming in with that thing. Now, I think in this situation, we can't really afford to switch outright. I think we really just need to get damage on this thing so that we can take it out later. So we have to just stay in and go Brave Bird here. I think that's what we're going to do. We do outspeed. Brave Bird incoming, and it is going to knock this thing to about a third HP, but it does survive. We take a bunch of recoil damage, and he is going to Dragon Dance as expected, which is definitely bad news. That is going to increase his attack and speed, obviously. So he's probably going to outspeed us this turn, but still, I think our best course of action is to just stay the course with the Talonflame, so that's what we're going to do. And just click Brave Bird once again here, see what he wants to do. So we do still outspeed, actually, which is great. And Bravebird's actually just going to go ahead and finish that thing off, which is incredible for us. That is going to knock him down to 2 as we do take some more recoil damage. So Talonflame putting in the work here as well, which is pretty incredible. So now he's going to go ahead and come in with the Grimmsnarl, and I think there's no point in switching at this point. We're just going to go ahead and click Bravebird once again here, as this thing is going to fake out, and we actually can survive that with 21 HP in the red, which is incredible. We do get flinched, of course, but we can just stay the course here and click Bravebird one more time, as he is actually packing Sucker Punch as well, so that is interesting. A pretty offensive Grimmsnarl there, but that is going to take care of our Talonflame, unfortunately, and knock us down to 4, but that's okay. We do still have options to deal with this thing, and I think we're going to go to our Greninja for that. So going to come in with that, and I think in this situation what we're going to do here is I think we are actually just going to go straight for the Surf to try and get as much damage as possible on this thing. He stays in, we go Surf. Protean going to change us to a pure water type, of course. We are max special attack with a choice specs, and it is not quite enough to take this thing out, unfortunately, as he goes Spirit Break in return. That is going to knock us down to about a 3rd HP and cut our special attack, but we do survive, and I think we just go for another Surf this turn, so that's what we're going to do. He's going to Sucker Punch us, and we actually can't take that, unfortunately. So yeah, we're going to lose Greninja there and go down to 3, so he is really getting back in the game here with this Grimmsnarl, offensive Grimmsnarl, but we do still have answers to this thing, and I think the answer we're going to go for here is actually going to be back into the Tinkaton. So we come in with that, and we get the Mold Breaker coming into play once again, so I think any attack we go for is definitely going to take this thing out. So just in case he decides to switch, we're going to go Knockoff here, as he does stay in, we do go Knockoff, and that will definitely be enough to finish the Grimmsnarl off and knock him down to just 1 Pokemon. So we are going to get some HP back with the leftovers as well, and his last Pokemon is going to be that Dragapult, so he's going to go ahead and come back in with that, so we're kind of right back to where we started the game here at the end of it, interestingly enough. So I think what we want to do here is we want to just go straight for probably just straight for the Gigaton Hammer, so that's what we're going to do. He is actually going to go for a Dragon Dance, so hoping he can survive an attack from us trying to set up here. Going to get that attack and speed increase. We are going to go for the Gigaton Hammer in return. We are max attack, and it is not quite enough, actually, because he is actually carrying a Focus Sash, so that is unfortunate. He's going to survive because of the Focus Sash, but that kind of is what it is. So we get some HP back with the leftovers. Now it just depends on whether or not we can take an attack from this thing with the Tinkaton. We're just going to go Knockoff because we can't do Gigaton Hammer twice in a row, and he's actually going to go ahead and forfeit, just because he knows that I suppose there's no way out at this point. So we are going to win that one. Technically a 3-1 victory over Preston there. But that was a really good match, actually. Pretty close, pretty competitive, pretty fun game there. He could have potentially taken the Tinkaton out if he would have had a super effective coverage for us. But we did have options in the back to handle that thing, so I suppose he knew that he was not going to be able to come out on top of that one. But good match nonetheless. Thanks for watching again, everybody. Hope you all enjoyed. Please hit that like button, leave a comment, and or subscribe if you did enjoy, and stay tuned for more new battles in the future. So that's it, and we'll see you next time.